Hello guys, I'm Kumut. Today I'm going to read this book, Taxes, Taxes, Where the Money Goes, by Nancy Loween, and it's illustrated by Brad Fitzpatricks. Let's start. Mrs. Colby asked her class of third graders, "Tell me what the following things have in common: a highway, a library book, a park, a soldier's salary. Think about who pays for these things. Where does the money come from?" Several hands shot into the air. "Sharon, what do you think?" Mrs. Colby asked. "Taxes," Sharon said. "All of those things are paid for by the government with money from taxes." "Right," Mrs. Colby said. "Our government collects money or taxes from people and businesses. Then the government spends that money on goods and services that benefit everyone." Mrs. Colby asked the class to brainstorm about ways tax dollars are spent. She wrote their ideas on the board. Pretty soon, the entire board was full. Let's read the board that Mrs. Colby's class brainstormed on. How taxes are spent. Community workers like firefighters, rescue squads, and police officers. Public schools, libraries, parks, and transportation and buildings. Public and fixing roads and bridges. Plowing and sanding highways and city and streets. School needs like paying teachers and staff, buying books, supplies, and computers. Keeping public waters safe. Making sure food in restaurants and grocery stores are safe. Making sure medicines are safe. Helping people who have been through a natural disaster like tornadoes, earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, and droughts. Court systems such as jails and prisons. Social security, providing income for retired people, disabled people, and orphans. National defense, military branches like the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard. Helping other countries. Mrs. Colby explained, there are three main levels of government: federal, state, and local. The federal government is national and affects everyone living in the United States. However, it doesn't control everything. The states have a lot of power. The states, in return, give a lot of power to cities and countries. So, people pay taxes to all three? Philip asked. "In one way or another, yes," Mrs. Colby replied. "I'm going to let someone else tell you more about that. We've got a surprise guest today." Todd's mom came into the classroom. "This is Mrs. O'Brien. She has an important job with the IRS," Mrs. Colby said. In the year 2000, the IRS collected more than $2 trillion from 226 million tax returns. Mrs. O'Brien took over. IRS stands for Internal Revenue Service. It's the agency in charge of collecting federal taxes. Internal means within the United States. Revenue is a fancy word for the tax dollars the government receives, she said. "Who wants to ask the first question?" Mrs. O'Brien asked. "Me," said Jamie. "Who decides how much people pay in taxes?" "Well," said Mrs. O'Brien, "citizens elect senators and representatives who make bills or propose tax laws. Then the president or governor signs them into law. On the local level, people often vote directly on tax issues, If we don't think about our taxes that are fair, we can vote for someone we think will do a better job. Taxation was one of the issues that led to the Revolutionary War. Kelby asked, what kinds of taxes are there, and which parts of the government gets which taxes? The federal government gets most of its money from income taxes. Every year, people who earn money need to report their income to the government. They have to pay part of their income to the United States Treasury. That process is called filing a tax return, Mrs. Colby said. People pay income taxes at different rates depending on their incomes. Those who earn a lot of money pay a higher percentage than those who don't earn as much. Don't people pay income tax to states too? Asked Audrey. In most states, yes, answered Mrs. O'Brien. However, not every state collects income taxes. States also raise money through sales taxes, Mrs. Colby said. A sales tax is an extra charge that you pay when you have to buy something. Many cities have sales taxes too. The average sales tax, including both state and local taxes, is 6.25%. State and local governments also have user fees. Those are only applied to people who are actually using a government service. If you buy a fishing license, you're helping to support programs that keep lakes healthy and stocked with fish, she said. I've heard my parents talk about property taxes, said Ryan. What are those? Property taxes are based on the value of a person's home or land and collected by local governments, Mrs. O'Brien said. These fees have to be paid every year. It's not just individuals. Businesses have to pay property taxes too. A lot of that money that goes to pay for public schools. It also pays for things like police officers, firefighters, streets, sewers, and parks. Tax revenues are always moving, Mrs. O'Brien said. While a school gets money from local property taxes, it also receives money from state and federal governments. In return, the teachers and staff pay sales taxes on what they buy, property taxes on their homes, and income taxes every year. It all goes around and around. The goal of a tax system is to create balance so that all people have their basic needs met. Mrs. Colby stood up. Speaking of basic needs, it's time for lunch. Thanks, Mrs. O'Brien. The Revenue Act of 1942 required employers to withhold taxes from employees' paychecks. This created a regular flow of money that was used to pay the cost of World War II. The end. So, that's it for today. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to comment. Thanks for watching. Bye!